Can we talk about the style of the hotel?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The hotel was built in 1896, and it's a Queen Anne style. The way you know it's a Queen Anne style is because it have. Let me do it again. The way that you know it's a Queen Anne style is simply because it has curved porches. When you see these rounded features in the architecture, that's what makes it a Queen Anne porch and what makes it Queen Anne Victorian. Let me talk about the bedroom for just 1 second.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Staying here is a little bit like staying at grandma's house. And so this is like a great big grandma's house. And we tried hard to make all the bedrooms really cozy and comfortable and fun. And so sometimes I just sleep in the different rooms just for fun to see what it feels like. And every room has a little bit of a different feel. My sister Joyce and my brother-in-law Richard actually run the bed and breakfast here. And they seem to be having a great time with it. And so that makes me smile, makes me happy, because it really gives them something to do, because they were just like everybody else. They worked in factories their whole life, and when the factories closed down, what do we do now? And so they really didn't have anything to do now. And so but by doing this project, this gave them something to do, and so that made me very happy. And the hotel really does have some spirits. Like I'm a person that does spiritual things for a living. I'm a known psychic around the world, and I do a lot of shows on the Strip in Vegas and all over the country. Do a lot of radio, do a lot of TV stuff, and you know, being here, I see spirits in the hotel, and which is very common for me. But all of a sudden, other people started seeing the spirits too. We would have guests that would, you know, be a little freaked out because they would see this lady that had slick black hair that was kind of slicked back, and she would appear and then sort of disappear. And this has happened many, many, many times. And so after a while, we really figured out it was Deborah Leach, who is the original owner of the hotel. In the very beginning, it's a railroad hotel. She was Angus Leach's wife. And so she seems to visit, and I think she approves of what we're doing. Well, I started discovering different spiritual dimensions, I think, when I was a little boy. I think when I grew up on my grandmother's farm, a little ways away down the street, a couple of miles, I was able to see what I believe my dog was seeing when I was a little kid, because I realized my dog sometimes would love certain people and dislike others. And I kind of had that same sense. And I was able to see lights around people that I later interpreted and realized those were angels. And I was also able to see dark energies that I later interpreted and realized those were demons. And so it didn't take long to sort it out. If you can count to two, you would have angels here or demons there. And just because somebody has a demon doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they had a demon. And I think we all have demons. If you meditate a certain way, everybody can see heaven and actually see all the dimensions. It's not hard, it's easy. Everybody can do what I do. I've never met a person that I couldn't work with for a little while and teach them how to see spiritually like I can. You know, I have a fun time. A lot of times I'm out doing shows on the road, and I have downtime where I'm a little bored. And so I love to shop, and so I'll go out and I'll buy things. And so with doing the hotel, it was really great. Suddenly there would be a tractor trailer load of stuff show up that would be different architectural salvage pieces I bought to work on the hotel, or different things, fountains. We have a giant fountain. It's 17 feet tall. Actually, I have two of those. One of them's up, and one of them we're working on a new garden actually for next year. This is my favorite spot. This is actually my favorite spot in the hotel. It's the gardens. The rose garden is just a very peaceful thing. And once I did the rose garden, I actually realized I created this energy vortex. I'd come out here and I would feel all healed up. And even being psychic, I would come out and I would see angels, I would experience different kind of healing energies, and so I think a lot of other people have felt the same thing and been able to see things like, sort of like I do. It's a great place to just rest and meditate. Let your mind go. I think what helped create the energy vortex around the fountain, which was this area was very suppressed and they'd closed the factories down and stuff. And here's this crazy, eccentric nut, me, who came in and decided to put a 17-foot tall fountain in the middle of this giant rose garden just because. A garden is a place that I think you learn to really appreciate. You have a garden just so you can appreciate it. That's it. And this is an area, Star is an area where people really appreciate each other. They really do. There's a sense of community here. There's a sense of small town here. And there's really a strong spirit that exists here. And so this beautiful sense of spirit and sense of really oneness with each other it is here. And I think the garden sort of brought it back to life. I think a lot of people can feel it. You know, I'm called a psychic because I don't think there's another word, you know, but I'm really not a psychic. A psychic is someone who I always picture a palm reader. I'm not a palm reader. I'm many different things, and over the years I've always tried to learn how to use and expand on my spiritual gifts. My biggest passion is working with autistic children. I work with a lot of autistic kids. And I bumped into this quite by accident. A lady came to see me, and she came to see me for a session in Beverly Hills, and she had 2 autistic children. She had a little 4-year-old boy on one arm and a little 2-year-old boy on the other. And both of these little guys were cute as a button, but they were both autistic, and they never said a word. And she said, "Gary, I heard you do amazing things. Please heal my children. Let them speak." And I was like, oh God, right? Because I didn't have a clue. And it was interesting because as I really just tried to help her and do what she was wanting me to do, I could see the blocks that was keeping, her 4-year-old from speaking. And I worked with his energy and talked to his angels and cleared his energy, basically. And I said, I told him, I said, if you could say something to your mom, she would really be happy. And he said, "I love you, Mom." Oh no, I tell you, I know exactly. I can explain that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do.
Well, see, I figured this out because autistic children really see things like I can see things. They see things in layers. They see things in dimensions. See, I can see things in dimensions. I can, of course, talk to dead people. I can see angels. And I see things in layers. See, when I'm looking at a person even, I don't see what everybody else sees with their eyes. I see something different. I see something very different. And so autistic children can see the same thing I see. And then some, because they're far more spiritually gifted than me. And they're usually, I find them up in the cosmos somewhere doing some job for God. And their physical body is down here anchored, but their real intelligence or intellect is actually in the spiritual dimensions. And I have to clear their physical bodies, and their spiritual intellect then will join their body. And when that happens, it's magic, because they start talking instantly. And it's really crazy to see this process. I think that this is a place that's going to really attract a lot of young people. We just got to, we got to create some things in an artist community that gives young people things to do. And so as soon as we have a few little things to do, I think we're going to see Star become a brand new youthful star. I've always entertained my whole life. And so it's easy for me to figure out how could we entertain people, like what are we going to do here? And so with being an entertainer, I think it's just a natural thing that's what I do. But I think that's my mission here. I think my mission here is to figure out how to entertain the people in Star.
(1974), July the 4th. The first day they were here. And there's one left to living that was here the first day. I was at the Grand Ole Opry and I told Roy Acuff, I said, I'm gonna build a music barn. He said, you build it and they'll come. And he was right.
There's bluegrass music everywhere, but this is a unique experience.
I call it, I gotta go get my bluegrass fix. That's what I tell my wife all the time, it's time for me to go get my fix. She said, okay.
It's just a place to have fun. It brightens your day. It brightens my day every time.
And it's like, well, it is stepping back in time, at least 50 years, if not more. And it's kind of like a dinner theater, free of charge. I don't know how you can beat that. And you'll make friends before you leave.
First, it's Clyde Maness. Nobody could do it like Clyde does.
Every Tuesday night I cook 10, 12 pound of pintos, 30-pound potato salad, 5 cases of water, 6 cases of drink, and 150 cups of coffee, and feed people every Tuesday night. And sometimes there's 100 here, and sometimes there's 200, 300.
There's an old wood frame store not very far from me, where the folks all gather round and you'll enjoy their company. There's open mic on Tuesday night and you'll get in for free. There's cakes and pies and endless eats, all your friends to see.
Clyde, that's a character that is hard to describe. He's the same as he was 20 years ago when I first met him.
On your G-run or work on something new. So meet me down at Clyde's place and let's pick a few.
He is a unique guy. He is a people person. He calls me almost every day of the week to chat what's going on.
Clyde always welcomes all the new people, and he makes it a point to talk to everybody and make everybody feel welcome, and you just want to come back.
the first time I met him was the first time I came. I was a little shy, I was playing the bass, and they took me right in and I played with him over there in the little jam section back there. And he got me up on stage, and I loved it.
In 1990, it got so big out there, so many people, we couldn't handle it. So we built this room. Got Bill Monroe and Lester Flatt up on the wall and Ernest Tubb in the middle.
This building actually has been several things. It was a lawnmower shop.
There's my wife. She dressed up in old-timey. I told her the other day she's prettier now than she was when I married her. She didn't answer.
The pottery has been here probably for decades, and Clyde was an active potter. He and his wife.
This is where we made all of our pottery. We made around 30,000 pieces, pots, and we would turn pots. And my grandson, he took it over, but they called him to Afghanistan, so we packed everything up and wait until he comes back. And he'll be back to start all over again. And I bought this farm, and I got 4 kids and 6 grandchildren, and all of them live on the farm, on this farm. I built them all a home. And we eat together about every day. See all my grandchildren every day. They listen to me sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Me and my wife were married in 1960, June. We started building chicken houses, and now, 45 years later, I'm old and the chicken houses are old. So I quit raising. And we tore them down, and my son's fixing to make greenhouses up here and raise tomatoes and squash, whatever. But we had a good life here. When you was in the bed asleep, my chickens were still making you money. I raised tobacco for 15 years here too. I had tobacco allotment. And my wife got tired of it one day and said we weren't gonna raise no more, and we didn't. Too hard to work. I'm 74 years old, never had a ticket, but you know the reason I ain't never had a ticket? I walk across the road to work.
Let's put it up there and B right there, so it looks too low for me.
Clyde is a living storybook. He has so many stories to tell, and he's played everywhere, just about that you can play. He's played with lots of famous musicians.
That was Bill Monroe. I played with him on the Early Bird show in 1984, I believe it was. The guy behind him is Lester. He was the official photographer for the Grand Ole Opry for 45 years. That's Dale Earnhardt. He gave that to me in 1979 when he was Rookie of the Year. He came in here, and I got some photos of him standing beside his car in 1979 when he was Rookie of the Year, and he signed all of them. When they raced at Rockingham, they would come through, you know. Dale Earnhardt, he was a real nice fellow. He ain't here no more of that.
He has been known to stretch things a little bit. He's aware of it. He knows it. He don't care.
He claimed that he could go up to a beehive, a box beehive, and he didn't have to wear a bee suit. We didn't believe him. Well, a few days later, sure enough, he's in the newspaper smoking bees, no bee suit on. Says Clyde Maness, you know, able to do it without bee suit. Oh man, he's a man. I love him. We all love him.
All right, Six, we ready?
Check number 1. Check, 1, 2, 1.
Okay. I had a cousin that played electric guitar, and he traveled, and he would come home and teach me how music when I was about 10 years old. And I fell in love with music then. If it's good country, I love it. If it's good gospel, I love it. If it's good bluegrass, I love it.
I know you'll be pretending. You'll have another on your mind. Just one more kiss, then walk away. Please kiss me one more time. Most of the bluegrass songs tell a story, most of them, and that's what I like. It's a down-to-earth music, straight out and out, down to earth. The old country songs fit right in with bluegrass and vice versa. Another teardrop. Kiss me, darling, one more time. Please kiss me one more time.
I don't really consider myself a real musician because there's all levels of musicians, but I've loved it since I was a kid. My dad was a real fiddler, and I sang some in high school. Then I came down here about 6 years ago, and a friend of mine was sitting in the circle playing her guitar, and she invited me to come back the next week, and I've been coming ever since.
Me and my friends, we make up the up-and-coming bluegrass band. It consists of a fiddle player, a mandolin player, a bass player. My sister plays the guitar. I play the banjo. We try to get up here about every week.
I thought, you know, when I first started coming down here, you know, it was going to be old people, you know, but it's not. They learn so quick. They're exposed to a whole lot more than what I was when I was growing up. And I'm so glad to see the young people involved with it. Oh, it does me good just to get to pick with it.
Says James, my opinion, there's nothing better in this world. Beats a 52, Vixen and a red-headed girl. Now Norton's and Indians and Grievous's walking. They just don't have a soul like a Vixen 52.
People, they're super nice here. They, you know, you go up on stage and they act like they love you. And it's a real joy to perform.
Why do you continue doing this for the community?
Because there's a lot of people come here, this is their life. They don't have nothing else. They're old people like me, and they enjoy it.
There are a lot of people here that don't get any other entertainment. They don't go to movies, they don't go to plays, they go to church, and they come to Clyde's on Tuesday night. And that makes it special. Everybody feels welcome. And it couldn't exist without Clyde.
He's out to help anybody he can. He'll do anything for you if he likes you. I mean, he's just fun to be around to me.
Clyde is one of the best people that I have ever met. Clyde is a servant of the community. He does lots of things that nobody knows about. And he's still going strong. He just is a testimony for how good music will make your life, I think.
You may sing a song.
Alan's probably chomping at
Is
the
it making a
bits.
movie? Way down Columbus, Georgia. Won't be back in Tennessee. Way down Columbus stockade. Friends all turned back on me. Go and leave me if you wish to. Never let me cross your mind. In your heart, love another. Leave me, little darling, I don't mind. See, I got an artificial arm and I can't play anymore. I lost it. But there's one thing about it. At one time, there wasn't nobody could beat me.